the first one, users of cost curves, we can do a bit of a dynamic analysis. Let's see what happens, right? So let's look at the shifts in the revenue and cost curves. Okay, shift in revenue and cost curves. If I look at revenue curves first, I'll tell you two things. Revenue curves either shift in a parallel fashion or they shift in a pivotal way. Only two possible shifts. It's either parallel or pivotal. How do you understand this? I give you a tip. Always think of AR as your demand curve. MR simply follows AR. MR is like the little brother, always following the older one, or the little sister following the older sibling. No identity of his or her own. Alright? So this is what happens. You just have to consider what happens to demand. Okay? So I'll give you an example. Let's say there is an economic recession. Of course, we assume normal goods. Okay? If there's an economic recession, we will see this. AR0, MR0, shifting inwards. Okay, so this is AR1, MR1. Parallel shift. Why? Because your economic recession affects demand. It doesn't affect PED. So the AR shouldn't change in terms of the slope. Okay, does this look parallel enough? If not, I draw another one. Okay, can you see inward shift in a parallel way? But let's say I'm talking about the entry of rivals. When you have rivals coming in, it affects demand. It should affect demand because my market share falls. Okay, market share drops. At the same time, I get more substitutes. Therefore, PED rises. Do you remember PED is affected by proportion of income, addiction, necessity, time period, substitutes. So what do I expect? Well, I expect this. MR0, AR0, AR1, MR1. Inward shift, and the curves become gentler. Why gentler? Because your PED goes up. Any questions? Are we okay? A common mistake that students make, okay, is a mistake that we should avoid. You should avoid AR curves crossing. You should avoid the MR curves crossing. The curves should never touch. Okay? The old AR and the old MR should never touch. Why? Have you seen this in demand and supply before? Like, oh, like that. Never, right? You never said, oh, demand 1 falls to demand 2. It never happens that way. If it happens that way, that will say your demand curve has fallen such that at certain price level, quantity demanded is higher, certain price level, quantity demanded is lower. No such thing. Fall means fall, alright? So the old and the new revenue curves, they shouldn't intersect. In MR and AR, they can intersect. AR and AR, MR and MR cannot intersect. Okay? Alright? No questions? So I've just explained how revenue curves can change. Yes, Jared? That's okay. Yes, that's okay. Okay. Alright, let's go on to your cost curves. So I've just explained how revenue curves shift. Let's look at cost curves. Okay. Now, in terms of cost curves, you either shift AC only, or you shift AC and MC. When do you shift AC and MC? When there's a change in variable cost. When do you shift AC only? When there's a change in fixed cost. So if I'm looking at airlines company, higher price of oil versus higher price of planes. Okay, if I'm looking at higher price of oil, I will have MC shifts up, AC shifts up. Actually, even if you cut, it's okay, huh? Gets a little bit confusing, so the colors should help. Okay. Now, just in case, right? If you find that this is a little bit fast, you want to revisit this, you can come by again on Friday, 7:15. I'm doing the same thing, okay? I know a number of you are quite busy at the moment, right? So if you prefer to see it through the video, you can let me know also. Richard? This is variable costs. Variable costs affects total cost, and the only way to increase your output is to increase variable factor. So your marginal cost must be variable in nature. Okay. For planes one, just like that. Oh, no, cannot. For the planes one, alright. How much to shift depends on whether you want to show subnormal, normal, or supernormal. Why? You can also shift until here. That's okay also. Only AC shifts. MC doesn't change. So this is only a change in fixed cost, whereas this is a change in variable cost.